How's everybody doing?
Don't ask that. We haven't even started.
I'm just asking a question.
Dude, you're going to ask us that in 5 seconds. I'm not answering it twice.
What is up, everybody, and welcome to episode 53 of the Geek Cast. I am Bobby, the Nintendo Guru, joined by my good friend Toby from the UK. What is up, Toby?
What is up, Bobby? You know, I'm excited to be on with movie star Sean Capri.
Oh my goodness!
Movie star.
I say movie star because I was telling my parents this morning that I'm going to be doing a podcast with Sean Capri and Mark. And my mum immediately went, Sean Capri? Is that a real name? Sounds like a movie star name.
Oh, I'm blushing. I love your mom.
So, you hear the other voice? Sean Capri is with us. What's up, Sean? How are you?
Hi, everybody. I'm up the earliest out of everybody.
Yes,
so I'm drinking my coffee.
This is true.
I don't know why I do this for you. I always say I'll do anything for you, and it sounds really good, and then I do anything for you, and I feel terrible about it.
Listen, you remember this next time you need me for...
Yeah, and you're going to give me crap about it then, too. Just kidding. Happy to be here. I think this might be your best episode yet.
This is going to be. This is going to be the best episode yet.
I agree.
My buddy, my good friend Mark. What is up, Mark?
How you doing?
He's
It's
all
definitely going to be the best episode ever because you've got 2 Canadians and a Brit to keep your Americanness in check.
Listen,
Exactly.
I can handle you
Good
guys.
stuff.
I'm used to two Brits and a Scottish, and I'm fine. Don't worry about it. I can handle Canada. Canada is overly nice, so I'm not worried about it. We're good.
That's
Although,
what we want you to think.
The people that say that have never met you two, so I don't think that's the problem. So this is a different episode. This is a little bit special, and the reason why I tried to pull this together was
A short bus.
pretty much. It's I got to, obviously Toby, and that's the Geek Cast, and that's the part of what we're doing.
I am the Geek Cast.
Stop. And then we have Sean, my buddy Sean, that we do If We Ran Nintendo, and then we have the other one, Mark, that we sometimes do Inkcast or Ink Strike. I always say Inkcast. I always say Inkcast. But we have a podcast called the Ink Strike Podcast that we do. We have guaranteed 2 more episodes.
Oh, yeah.
We'll see what happens.
Yep.
I think, though, you know what, though, Mark? I think that we're going to get continued Splatoon stuff, just not Splatoon games.
I really hope so. I really hope it keeps going, and I hope, at least, we can get something out every month or every whatever, just something, some kind of little updates, some little thought, whatever it is, it's a fun show to do. I like hanging out with you and Joe, so I hope we can kind of keep it going.
We are perfectly primed and set for when Splatoon 2 hits, because we're like the only podcast on the internet for Splatoon, so it's awesome.
We are the #1 Splatoon podcast in the world.
This is true. Joe was supposed to join us, but he got last minute. He's working on his roof or something.
So you got me instead, everybody.
No. You were always supposed to be here. Don't try that. Allan, I don't know what his deal is. He went off to go fight crime or some nonsense, or just lock up drunk guys in the drunk tank. And Holly had to, what'd she say, get a key or something today?
From a new landlord.
So it's the 4 of us. I can't count. I'm from Jersey. It's early. I'm going to use that as my excuse. So let's kick this episode off like we do each and every episode with our Geek Outs. Tobes, I'm going to kick it to you. What's your Geek Out?
Oh, you know what I'm geeking out about today.
I was waiting for this.
We're going to skip Toby. We're going to
double whammy of Sonic games, yes. So we got Sonic Mania announcement, which is a brand new 16-bit 2D side-scrolling Sonic game. You can play as Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles, and it looks amazing. So hyped for that. And it does, man. What?
Yeah. Listen. Stop with the looks amazing. Okay, it looks Sonic-ish.
It looks like Sonic at his best, which was Sonic 1, 2, and 3.
Please, oh God, do we really want to do this early in the morning for me? It's afternoon for you, so I get that. But no, I like what they're doing here. I like the fan service. I like that they're going back to the basics. I think they're taking a page out of Nintendo, and they're seeing what Nintendo did with Mario Maker, and they're going, okay, let's take a step back. I think that the past couple of games have been bad. Definitely Sonic Boom was trash.
Mm-hmm.
What was the other one? Lost Levels?
Lost World.
Lost World. How was that? How did you play? Did you
I
play
didn't
that?
play that one.
See, this what drives me up the wall with you. You're a diehard Sonic fan, but you don't even play the games.
I play the good ones.
There are no good Sonic games. I've told you this
Sonic
numerous times.
Generations. That was sick.
Fantastic.
What,
Toby, have you played the remakes on like the iOS, Apple TV, and that kind of stuff?
No, I've not played any of that stuff. But apparently it's quite good.
They're fantastic. I have it on the Apple TV. It's like with a real controller, like Sonic 1, Sonic 2, fantastic. Like HD, full screen, but it looks like just a crisper version of the old ones. It's awesome. Yep.
Yeah, I heard. I was watching the Game Explain reveal discussion, and a guy on there was saying that he loves those mobile versions, and he wishes that they brought them to console.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Now, when you say that they redid them or whatever, are they like updated graphics, or are they just a 16-bit era graphics?
It's 16-bit era graphics, but it's all done in high definition. So
nice.
It looks crisp and clear and perfect, but it still looks like Sonic. Like Sonic 1, Sonic 2. It's spot on, it's amazing, but it's all, I mean, it's redone for modern times. You know, it's kind of how, you know, Shovel Knight looks 8-bit, but you couldn't run that on the 8-bit kind of thing, and it's running in full screen, and it's running in high def and all that kind of stuff, but it has that 8-bit. This is the exact same thing. Like, you could take that and hold it next to the old Sonic games, and it looks spot on. It's really, they're really solid.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and what's really interesting to me is the way a lot of these big publishing companies are sort of starting to realize that people want this retro goodness. Like, you know, Square has got I Am Setsuna, which is basically a new Chrono Trigger, and they've got a whole new developer just working on those old school type games. And Sega is making an old school Sonic game, and people are like realizing that these experiences, they might look old with their pixel graphics, but indie developers have been doing it for ages and getting massive success. So I think the big publishers are starting to realize that it is still viable to make games like that.
Listen, it's got to be, because it's not costing you a quarter of the money it's costing you to do these big budget games. So you could crank out a lot more. You could make people happy because you're giving them what they want. And like you said, I think that like the Shovel Knights, the SteamWorld Digs, those type of games have showed that, like, hey, people are interested in those genre games. So give it back to them, like throw it back at them. What I'm curious is why they never upgraded the graphics. Like when Nintendo did, you know, the collection, the All-Star collection, they redid all the original ones with better graphics. I'm surprised Sonic never went through that transformation with like just a hint of.
They didn't need it because they weren't 8-bit like we was talking about before the podcast.
But I get that. But I mean, like, still to put that polish on it, that you know, that sheen. You know what I mean? Just to make it look a little. I don't know. It's just.
That's kind of what they do with the mobile versions and like I said, the Apple TV. And I think the Apple TV is the way to play it. I've tried to play it on my phone. Touch screen controls are never great. It works with a controller on your phone and that kind of stuff. But for me, the Apple TV or, you know, Fire TV or whatever you have, like one of those smart TV kind of things, that's the way to play this game. And I think that's as redone as it needs to be, because 16-bit doesn't need to be redone like 18 or 8-bit does, I think.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Yeah, and you know, I think just making them a little crisper, a little clearer, widescreen instead of, you know, boxed. I think that's all they need, and I think Sega's smart enough to realize that.
Question for you: so you're saying you're playing on Apple TV, but what are you using for the controller?
I bought a controller, like an actual. It's a it's an iOS controller. It's a Hori gamepad.
Okay, Cool.
Yeah.
I have to check it out then.
Yeah.
I'll try.
And then it works on my phone, it works on my iPad, it works on my Apple TV. I can switch it back and forth between
Nice.
any one of those devices. So,
Nice.
I prefer it. Like I said, I prefer to game on my TV. I can do it on my phone and that kind of stuff. But then you need to prop your phone up somewhere or like have it lying down. You're playing like kind of hunched over. So it does make the iOS gaming experience a little bit better if you have like a mount or something like that. And some of these controllers come with a screen mount that you can clip on or whatever. This one didn't because I bought it mainly for the Apple TV. But it's a solid controller.
I would love to get to go back to like the Final Fantasy games and stuff because iOS has them all. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I would love to go back and play those on my big TV and all that stuff. That'd be awesome.
Not everything goes to the Apple TV, so check them out first before you do that. But it's solid. The games that do work, it's really good.
Mark, what are you geeking out about?
I am geeking out about a couple of things. I saw Ghostbusters last night, and I thought it was fantastic.
Really?
Yes.
Yep. Yes. I thought it was great. All the haters and all that kind of stuff, all the negativity on the internet.
Preach.
I thought it was really good for what it was. I thought it was an entertaining summer blockbuster kind of movie. Is it an instant cult classic like the original was? Maybe not, but it had me laughing out loud to the point like I saw the 3D version and I had to take off my 3D glasses at one point. Just like the Chris Hemsworth stuff, he is so stupid and he delivers everything just so deadpan, and he's doing this one thing with like logos and stuff, and I lost it, and I'm not gonna spoil anything because I was crying. I was laughing that hard, and it just the way he delivers everything, and the way everyone's just looking at him, and he's just like, okay, cool, see ya, and he just like struts off, and it's I really liked it. Like we both, Lauren and I saw it last night, and we both thought it was great.
What did you think of the trailers though? Because I'm curious about that, because
Ghostbusters.
I feel like the trailers fell flat for me. So.
Oh, they definitely. Yeah, I mean the trailers did nothing really for me to entice me to see it. I saw it because it said Ghostbusters. If I didn't see a trailer, I would have been fine. The trailers, kind of showed me who the new Ghostbusters were, I guess, but really didn't sell me on the movie. It was going to see the movie that sold me on it. But I find that with a lot of trailers. Like I find a lot of trailers now, they just kind of fall short. However, the next thing I'm geeking out about is a couple of trailers that were shown off at Comic-Con, and that's the stuff for the Marvel Netflix stuff. So there's a Luke Cage teaser trailer out that looks awesome. Like have you guys seen it?
No,
I haven't seen it, but I did enjoy his character in Jessica Jones.
Oh man, and he looks even more badass. Like he basically the whole teaser trailer, he just rips a door off a car and uses it as a shield to go bust up a drug house.
Oh, wow.
And by the end of it, his hoodie is all like bullet written, and he's just walking through and just like punching guys in the face that are shooting him with guns, and like he just looks like a tank, and it's going to be amazing. There was another little teaser for Iron Fist, which I am super excited about. And that one kind of starts off with like a little bit of his origin, like the orphan boy picked up by monks, and then switches right to him in an asylum. He's all tied up. And then the next thing you know, he punches through a brick wall, and he's just kind of standing there and then walking through downtown New York in his bare feet, just kind of like looking around and whatever.
Nice.
Looks awesome. And there was a small little teaser for the Defenders as well. That didn't have any footage, just kind of had images from all the different seasons and that kind of stuff. But still, had Stick from Daredevil, did a little voiceover and said, the four of you think you can save the city, you can't even save yourselves kind of thing. So that was kind of badass, just a nice little, and set to a Nirvana song, which I thought was awesome. There's a tiny, very quick teaser for Daredevil Season 3, which I'm very excited for. Huge fan of those. And to top it all off, aside from Netflix, Ghost Rider is coming to season, what are we on, 4 of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
Nicolas
It's gonna
Cage
be-
coming back.
Yeah.
I didn't know that was Ghost Rider, but I made a joke to Alan saying Ghost Rider, LOL, but apparently it is.
Yeah, it really is, and it's not. So it's not the Nicolas Cage, Johnny Blaze, Ghost Rider. It is the new Ghost Rider. And I can't remember his name. I'm gonna try to look it up real quick.
It's the good version done by Marvel rather than by Fox.
I'm only familiar with the Nicolas Cage one.
Yeah.
Yes, well, it's the new one is Robbie Reyes. So he's like a new Ghost Rider. He's completely unrelated to the like normal motorcycle Ghost Rider. It's still like the Spirit of Vengeance kind of thing. But that kind of leaves it open because there were rumors that the next wave of Netflix shows is going to be like Ghost Rider, Moon Knight, and a couple of different guys. Blade, I think, was in there. But this leaves it open. So if they wanted to do a proper, Johnny Blaze kind of Ghost Rider thing, hopefully not with Nicolas Cage, get someone else. But they can have 2 Spirits of Vengeance. They can have 2 Ghost Riders, you know what I mean? So leaves it open. So the TV can do their thing on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. They can have, this kind of teenager with a car kind of Ghost Rider thing, and then they can do it on Netflix or big screen or whatever, and have that. So a lot of Marvel news, a lot of cool stuff, and I'm kind of geeking out. I was geeking out reading that after Ghostbusters last night, and just had a great entertainment night last night.
Awesome.
Have you ever been to Comic-Con, Mark?
I have not.
Oh man, you would love it. You should totally go next year. It's hard to get tickets, but you should totally go, man. You would absolutely love it.
I went to
really want to.
Comic-Con this year, and it's the first Comic-Con I've ever been to in London, and it was good, it was cool, but it doesn't sound anywhere near as cool as what you guys have over there.
Well, San Diego's
like
is the Mecca. That's like New York is slowly starting to mount and get up to that, but New York is nothing compared to San Diego. San Diego is massive.
Bobby, don't sell yourself short, man. I preferred the New York Comic Con to San Diego.
Well, of course.
I don't know what it is. Oh, of course.
No, what I mean is
New York. I mean, what?
You're kind of like low key. You're like one of those guys. You don't like the massive crowds. New York gets a big crowd, but it's nowhere near like San Diego.
Yeah, I'm not standing outside of Hall H for 3 days straight, so I can get like the big news that comes out of San Diego Comic Con is out of Hall H, and that's all you're doing is sitting out front of that thing for the whole week. So that's probably why.
I would rather just stay home. See, it's not as good as it used to be either, because years past, like today, I could literally go on YouTube, type in Sandy SDCC 2016 panels, and I would have all kinds of panels listed on YouTube. I guess the studios yank them down now, and it's kind of upsetting, because I used to like just watching the panels, just to sit there and go, like, hey, I can't be there. It's just awesome to watch these panels, and I used to always watch the Walking Dead panel, and I used to always watch the Smallville panel every year, and I've got into watching Arrow panel. I'm assuming there's a Flash panel this year. I love those panels. I think they're awesome, and I don't know why they don't Twitch stream them or put them up on a live feed that you can just sit there and watch them all day, because it's amazing. Sean, what are you geeking out about?
I feel like we've known about this thing that I'm geeking out for a while, so I had to double check on when we learned about this. But the South Park Fractured But Whole Collector's Edition, or the Special Edition, includes a remote control Cartman car. He's the coon, and he's riding a little, like one of those big wheels.
Yeah.
This thing, it's $190. I don't normally spend.
That's a lot of money.
Spend on like a console. Like it's gonna be even more here. It's probably gonna be about, I don't know, $350 or something like that here in Canada. Yeah. But this is probably the coolest special edition I've ever seen. The design on him is amazing, and I love the throwback to the big wheel. The little. Do you remember these, Bobby? The little tricycle, little thing.
Why you go to the old guy, man?
I don't know. I don't know where these. I don't even know if kids have them now. Don't
you remember these, Bobby? Like I'm 90 years old over here.
Relax.
Because you are, Bobby. Because you grew up in 1976.
See, I'm trying to be inclusive here, and you throw me under the bus for it. What an ass. I love the remote control car. That will probably stay in the case for me because I don't never take these things out. I love the Steelbook case. It is so creative, and I'm so glad that they seem to just be taking what they already had, which was so weird and out there with the previous South Park game, and they're just going beyond. I have the Wizard, the Grand Wizard edition, the special collector's edition for the last South Park game. So I might have to put this Cartman right beside him. I just think this is hilarious.
It's got me torn because I saw it. I was like, I'm not a South Park fan at all, but I saw it. I was like, dude, I want that thing. That thing is cool because I am going to buy this game. I was actually going to buy it this week digitally so I can get the original. Look at Mark over here. I was gonna buy.
That's awesome.
I was gonna buy it digitally so I can get it automatically the first game on the PS4 and play them. Because I want to play that one through before I play this one. But I think I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna buy it because if you physically purchase it, you have to wait until October, November, whenever the game launches.
December,
Before you get the. And I don't want to play that then and then the second one now, and then I have to deal with everybody like spoiling. I got to dodge all the spoilers and stuff. So I think I'm going to do that now and play it.
The first one's really good.
Yeah,
it's a game that really has the power to like bring. Basically, it's bringing people back because I think we often forget how huge South Park was. Like it's continued on, it's had its success, but it exploded and it was everywhere. It was like Pokemon Go back in 1999, I think it launched. And so everybody has experienced South Park in one way or another, and then for it to be in video game form in the best way, like we're not talking the N64 video games here. We're talking like actually quality stuff. It's bringing people back, and I'm so excited for this to be kind of like a new way for people to enjoy South Park because I think people get a little embarrassed. They're like, I used to watch it when I was a kid. Like it's one of the smartest shows on TV. It's just absolutely incredible. So I'm totally geeking out over this thing. And then on Monday, I'm going to go see a little movie. I'm going to see a Batman movie, The Killing Joke.
Oh, you got tickets to that.
I will be going with a good group of friends, and I just can't wait. Yeah,
it's coming out Monday, right?
Yeah, I thought it was a one-day only thing, but I'm not.
Yeah, it's just one day only.
That. Yeah, okay,
you know
good.
I'm on vacation,
not delusional
so
then.
I think I might. I'm thinking we'll try to figure out how to get that.
You know what, Bobby? I'll have my phone out, and I'll just I'll FaceTime you in.
There you go.
It'll be our first date.
Yes, I love it. See, there you go. Take one for the team. So myself,
I'll give you popcorn. I'll put popcorn up to the camera.
See, you're
just throwing it at the screen.
Open up.
Yeah. Put a life proof on it. Just pour some pop over there.
What the hell is going on today? So myself, I'm geeking out. I started vacation today. Today's the first day of my vacation, and nice. I am excited, man. I got Miguel's probably coming over. Well, not probably. He's coming over after we're done this, and we are going to continue working on the game room. I'm going to put the TVs up today. So that means hopefully come Monday, I will be gaming down here all week. I am doing nothing down here. Yes. I can't wait. I can't wait till it's set up. I haven't really been gaming that much because of this, because I'm like in between. I want to get it done, so I'm like, do I play video games or do I go work on the game room? And I've been putting everything into the game room. Plus, now Tony's pressuring me because she's taking over the old game room, and she's like, you need to get out of there. I need to decorate. You need to get out of there. So I'm pushing that. But
it's a good time of year for that, Bobby. There's not a lot going on.
No.
Good time to take away from video games for 3 or 4 days.
Yeah. So, but the other thing I'm geeking out about is I watched the new trailer for The Walking Dead, the next season. Dude.
No spoilers, man.
I
don't want to watch the trailer.
You need to watch the trailer. Seriously.
No, I'm not watching it.
No, you need to watch the trailer. Seriously. They don't spoil, like, anything that happened, like who got killed at the end of last season. They don't get into that. But,
they're just showing dead bodies everywhere.
No, well, I'm all caught up, but I just want to go in blind.
Yeah, well, then why you come on the show, man? You're ruining my fun.
I enjoy it.
The other thing I'm geeking out about, since Toby stole that one and killed that one for me, Stranger Things. Oh my God!
Man. Yes.
I finished it a couple days ago. It is phenomenal, dude. It's set in the era like I grew up in that era, so it's just like this is awesome. This is it is amazing. Like, I called my dad last night. I'm like, you got Netflix? Yeah. Go watch Stranger Days. And he's like, what is it? And I started explaining. He's like, oh, I got to watch this. And I'm like, you would love it, man. It's like The Goonies meet Stephen King, and it's just like, it was just awesome. I didn't even know about it till last week when Toby brought it up, and I was like, let me watch this show. And I turned it on, and Tony was like, what is this garbage? And I was like, I don't know. Toby recommends. She goes, oh, it's going to be bad. And I was like, no, let's see. Let's check it out. And then when I told her it was in the 80s, she got excited because she's like stuck in a time warp. And every time I get in her car, she's got the 80s station on
a cassette player.
Yeah. So I'm like, we started watching, and I was like, oh. Now the thing was, I thought it was like 13, 14 episodes, whatever. And we got to like episode 6. And I had to shut it down to go do something. And I think I had to record with Sean, actually, on Monday. And so I shut it down, and I look, and I'm like, oh, my God, there's only 8 episodes. We're almost done. And I was like, okay, we're going to power through this in the next day or so. And we did. We watched it all. It was so good. So well done.
Yeah, really.
So, contrary to popular belief, Toby does like good things, so thank you for recommending it.
I've got a good case.
Let's not
Confirmed.
Those little shots are so mean.
Yeah.
Shoot. What we're playing, Toby? What are you playing?
I'm just playing more Batman right now.
I thought you were going to say I'm just playing
Tonight,
GTA 5. I was going to be like, you know what?
Well, I'm playing GTA 5 tonight, but we won't talk about that. But yeah, Batman. I'm just really enjoying it. Going through doing a lot of the Riddler stuff at the moment because that game's so great because every sort of side mission offers something different.
Yeah.
You got your main story, but then you know, if you want something a bit more intellectual, a bit more puzzling, then you go and do the Riddler stuff. If you like your chase stuff, you can go after the like the fiery dude that floats around and sets things on fire, and then you can there's all these like different unique types of missions that you can do, and the world is like your oyster in Batman, and you just feel awesome while you're doing it. So I'm just still really enjoying it. So.
I was so glad to hear you say that last week too. I don't know what all the hate is for this game. I had so much fun, and I never felt forced about any of the Batmobile stuff. I thought I could just do whatever I wanted. So yeah. I think people may have ruined it for themselves, or maybe latched onto this idea that the Batmobile was crap, and so they're just I agree, and it just sort of like piled on a game that's crazy momentum. I really like that game. I thought it didn't deserve nearly as much negativity as was thrown towards it.
I think for me,
of Batman games,
pretty much.
Totally.
And I think for me personally, because when I went into this game, I was like, I'm going to complete this. I'm going to 100% it. I'm going to platinum this game. What killed it for me was the Batmobile in terms of like when you would do some of those tank missions that are further on in the game, like later in the game, and it's like, oh my God. Dude, really? I got like 90 of these tanks to take out. That was
such a small part, though. Like I
get that, but what I'm saying is for me, I'm just talking about me personally. I love the game. Don't get me wrong. Storyline, I was telling Toby this. Like, I literally, and as weird as it's going to sound, it brought me to tears a couple times playing it because what it did for me was took a little kid who read this stuff in the pages and it brought it to life. There's scenes in that thing that happened that when I was a kid, it didn't hit me the way it hit me then. And I was just like, whoa, did this really just happen? And I'm trying not to really spoil it because I don't think Toby's that far along. But for me personally, to see this stuff come to life, it's just like, wow, I can't believe this stuff. You know what I mean? Like when you see it and you hear people talking and you hear the emotion in their voice and stuff, because that voice acting in that game is phenomenal. Like they got the best of the best, they really killed it, and they brought back all the great. That's what I like about that series. It takes all the best voice actors from the Batman era and brings them full circle. I loved it. So, and I'm glad that you're playing it because you definitely weren't into it when.
Yeah, it was all the talk about the Batmobile that put me off wanting to try it.
This is why I always say, and this is the truth, and what I always say is like, don't listen to reviews. Like, listen to your friends. Listen to people that play games that you like. So if like people you have like-mindedness with come to you and say, hey, try this game, Give it a shot. Don't listen to the reviews because there's so many reviews out there that like just rag on stuff and beat it down. Like for me, I didn't play Other M, and I didn't play Skyward Sword on the Wii because I was just like, oh, the reviews are so bad on this, I'm not going to mess with it. And then I went back and I played Other M, and I'm like, it's not that bad. Like it's not the greatest Metroid game of all time, but it's not as bad as people made it out to sound. And I still haven't got a hold of Skyward Sword because of the fact that like it's like $70 anywhere you can buy it. Yeah, don't
play it.
Why?
It's not good. Listen to the review.
What are you talking about?
It is no.
Mr. Capri.
No.
Listen, Toby told me.
If I ran Nintendo, I would not have made that game.
Toby told me that if I'm a Zelda fan, that I should at least try it.
Definitely.
You definitely should. I have to agree with Toby on this one. I think is it the best Zelda game? No. Does it get tedious? Absolutely. Because after the
Does
novelty,
it have terrible controls for sure?
Well,
No,
that's
the
what I was just
controls
gonna
are
say.
great.
After the controls are cool because it's the first time. I mean, it's what they tried to do with Twilight Princess when the Wii first came out, and it's like you wiggle that remote and it chops something, but they took it to the next level with the Wii Motion Plus. And if you chop sideways or up and down, whatever it is, whatever, it actually it's 1-to-1 of your movements. But it takes you that's what also takes you out of the game because then you have to like reconfigure the Wii remote or whatever, like rebalance it, and after you kill the 200th bad guy, of taking your time and being like, okay, I have to swipe it this way and then I have to swipe it up and then it's like swipe it on a diagonal and it's like, okay, cool, he's dead. Okay, let's do this 16 more times.
Sounds great.
It really
It sounds amazing. And the best part is, what? The best part is it's a short game. It's not. It's long. It takes forever to get.
Sure. It really.
It's bad. This game's bad.
The Clockwork boss, that gold shiny boss that's got like 8 arms, and each of the arms you have to slash at the arm in the right direction to cut the arm off.
Yep.
And then you pick his arm and you can use his arm against him. Like there's so much cool stuff in that game that people
There
don't
are some really
talk
cool
about.
boss battles and stuff. I find that the in-between dungeon stuff very monotonous, but I thought in the dungeons, the boss battles, I thought they did some interesting things, and I think it's as a Zelda fan, I think it's worth looking at. Even just for the story. If you've read Hyrule Historia and you like it, and you like that history bit, I think it's worth going back.
That's what has me. That's what has me wanting to play it more than anything is the story, so I can get into context with it, and that part I get.
Yeah.
You never know. They might remaster it.
Here's Sean. Here's Sean.
He's looking at
I'd rather read about this than and that goes to show because I don't do a whole lot of reading. I would rather let's do a little story. Look at this. This looks like it's from Storytime. You just like open up the page and it's all magical inside. I'll lick my finger and turn the page. This is incredible. This game sucks. This game is not good, guys. I don't know what is happening here. This game. Like everything you described, I was like, yeah, this part's cool, but then there's like 6 hours of nothing in between. The Hyrule Field is basically a sky, and there's nothing but even the clouds are boring up there. There's nothing to do.
I'm just gonna say this: going into this, Toby told me how much he liked Sean. I think
I'm changing my mind now.
Just lucky we're on other coasts. That's
exactly. Mark, what are you playing?
Starting a civil war here.
Yeah, that's it. Split the country in two. I am playing Pokemon Go. That's pretty much taken over. And I just bought Lego Star Wars: The Force Awakens. I'm very excited to jump into that. We will be playing that. Just finished up Doom. Awesome game. That's about it. That's what I'm playing. I really. With the whole the wedding and summer and trying to get out and enjoy myself, and that's why I like Pokemon Go because I can still get out in the fresh air, and it's like I'm on the beach and I'm like, okay, let's check out. There's no Pokemon around. Cool, let's go snorkeling for an hour. So that's what I've been playing. I've been not really sitting in front of my TV, but that's it.
So before we continue, congratulations for joining us fools and getting married.
Oh, thanks.
I'm gonna have to edit that out of the podcast. My wife here is gonna kill me. But no, seriously, congratulations. Loren is awesome. You know.
Thanks. I think so.
Loren, is that how you say it, or is it Lauren?
No, Loren. She has a little accent. Yeah.
Cool. I just thought Bobby was being stupid as normal. So.
No, the Brits don't get that stuff, Mark. You know what I mean? Like they spell color with a U. You guys do too. So you
so do we. I was just you gotta watch stuff now.
Yeah.
Nice try, though.
I did try. I lost it real quick.
Great example, Bobby. Great example.
Anyway, Mr. Capri.
They have like the Queen on their money. God, they're weird.
You guys do, don't you?
Yeah.
God. So you're really not. We're gonna fall down a rabbit hole here. Go ahead, Sean. What are you playing, Sean?
Well, I am also playing Pokemon Go, and I won't touch on it more than this. I'm surprised, Mark, when you mentioned that you see that there's no Pokemon around and you go scuba diving. I'm surprised we haven't heard more disaster stories of people trying to find Pokemon in like lakes or ponds and stuff by their houses. They're trying to find. I don't know.
Don't get me wrong. I took my phone out. I put a life proof on it, and I took it out with me.
That's what I'm talking about.
And it was kind of funny because I was like looking, and I was like, I want to find some kind of thing, and I looked down, and there's like a legit like real lobster like just like walking on the like underneath, and I was like, yo man, you seen a Krabby anywhere? And it's like no.
Pokeball at it.
All right. Yeah. So yeah, I did. So
did you guys see that video?
There it is.
There's a video on YouTube, and I don't know who put it up or whatever, but apparently there was a Pokemon gym in the middle of a lake, and like all these people were renting canoes and stuff to go out to it to take it over, and I'm like, only Nintendo fans would be this nuts to go do something like this. It's craziness.
That's amazing.
I too am playing Pokemon Go. I'm loving this game. Seriously.
Like, I was done then, I guess.
You were done.
Yeah, you go ahead.
You can chime in.
You were done when you scolded Skyward Sword.
Yeah, that's pretty much. You're basically on.
All right. Well, ABC you later.
I was out till like 10 o'clock last night with Miguel playing this, and at one point I looked at the clock and I was like, dude, we better go home. My wife's gonna think I'm like dead or like ran off someplace, and I'm like, I'm surprised she hasn't called yet. But we went to a college near us, and they had like 7 Pokestops in the gym there. I was telling Toby before the show, and we pulled up, and the security guard pulls up and he goes, "We're closed, guys." And I was like, oh, we're not going to the school. We just want to walk around. And he's like, no, we can't let you do that. And I was like, oh man. I was like, all right, no problem. I didn't want to get tased or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm like, all right, no problem. And he's like, he saw our phones in our hands. He's like, well, technically they don't want you to do it till sundown. You got about 15 minutes. He's like, go ahead, you got 15 minutes. And we just took off. It started like going to all these different stops and stuff.
Giggling the whole way.
Oh, I was like, this is great. Really. I was like, there's a gym. Let's go take the gym. And the two of us go over there, converge on the gym, take it over. And then we come back out. And I was like, all right, we got to get out of here, Miguel. He's like, no, further. I'm like, don't push it. This is how all news stories start in the United States anymore. Yeah, don't push it. Let's go. So as we're leaving out, the security guard came up and he goes, you guys are leaving? We're like, yeah. He goes, all right, man, have a good night. He goes, did you get the Science Center? And I was like, we got it already. Trust me, that's where the gym was. So, but what about you, Sean? What are you enjoying about this?
Pretty much the same. I did my first gym the other day. I didn't want to bully. Everybody's talking about Pokemon Go, so I didn't want to drag it out too much. I discovered that there are tennis courts by my house because I usually walk the dogs the same way every single time I take them out, and then a couple Pokestops, couple gyms took me on a different route. Which way do you say it? Route or route?
Route.
Route.
Right.
It's route.
It's route. Don't listen to him. It's R-O-O-T is route. R-O-U-T is route.
So I changed my path.
This guy.
I changed my path. I went out down a different way, and it's like this is really just an encapsulation of what the magic of this game is. Like I know that I'm walking with my phone in my face, but I'm discovering just different things around. Like I want to go play tennis now. I want to go like discover what else is around. I've been living in the same house for almost 3 years here, and I'm walking the same way, and just across the street and down the path, there's something else happening that I had absolutely no idea. So I think that that's really the magic here, is discovering new areas, new people, meeting new people, literally bumping into new people. So I'm loving Pokemon Go. The game that I'm not loving from Nintendo is the Blast Ball, the Metroid Prime Blast Ball that they surprise released for free.
Yep.
I gave it a try, and it doesn't get any more of my time than the single bus ride that I took in for work. It is,
really?
But I mean, you guys think Skyward Sword is great, so maybe you'll like it. This game is bad. This game.
I just downloaded it last night. I haven't even fired it up. I hit download, closed my system, said download later, and it's over there right now, charging, waiting for me to go. So that's. You
should play while like Bobby's going off on a rant or a tangent. Like that's all the time you'll need with this thing. I mean, the unfortunate thing is just how similar it does appear to be like Rocket League. The fact that it's a giant soccer field or football field for TOBY, and you're just knocking this thing around. It's clunky. The controls aren't very great. The shooting is not the shooting is really the main mechanic in the game, and the shooting is not very good. It's a first-person sort of experience that I don't think ever really works on 3DS. If you think 3D or a first-person shooter works on 3DS, you might like it more than I did. But I think it's pretty terrible. There's a weird sort of like collection of buttons that you have to push to turn, like turning to the left into strafing, and it just feels very random. Like there's no real sports strategy. Like with Rocket League, it felt like a sports game, but it was with cars and a giant ball. With
Rocket League is one of my favorite games. So comparing it to that, you've got my interest, and saying it's a lesser version of that, I'm like, eh.
It's not like
it's not.
I don't even want to compare it to it. It's not. Yeah, it's only similar in the fact that you're racing around this giant ball. But basically, it just feels very random. Like if you ever just stop shooting at the ball for a second, you're done. You lose, and that's not the way that Rocket League works. Like Rocket League has the strength of you can be a player and contribute to the team by actually knocking the ball into play, or you can be one of the other players, either defensive player, or you can kind of like swing around and wait for your timing. The time is always like you always need to be shooting the ball in Blast Ball, and it feels terrible. It's worth the price, but it's not worth your time.
Wow.
You just killed everybody's dream, Sean.
Well, I'm sure everybody was really looking forward to this, but everybody on the internet was. Yeah,
you know what
they
amazes me? This is what amazes me. When we record at night, you are all peppy, happy-go-lucky, loving the world. In the morning, man, you're killing everything. I'm afraid to ask you what your game of the year this year so far is, because like we got
nothing deserves my game of the year.
Where are you? Is it what coming up to 8 o'clock in the morning for you right now?
It'll come up to 9. It's quarter to 9.
Okay.
Yeah,
all right.
Not the worst.
So,
3 hours.
So
the game that I'm loving is Metal Gear Solid 5. I'll just put that out there. I don't want to waste any more time. Metal Gear Solid 5.
Stop. Alan, go away for a second. So the whole reason I got these guys on the show was last year we did the same thing, and Mark was actually a part of that show as well. We did like a midway point, our game of the year up to now. So if the year ended right now, what would be our game of the year as of what's hit so far? So I think let's just recap real quick. Last year, Mark, yours was Batman, wasn't it?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, I thought you said Batman as of now. Yep. Toby, where were you at, Toby?
I have no idea.
I know that
I really can't remember.
I know that I picked Splatoon up to that point. But regardless, anyway. So Toby, let's start with you. Where, like, other than GTA 5, because that's off the realm, you're not allowed to talk about that game.
No, I've got 4 games I want to talk about.
Go ahead.
The first game in chronological order would be The Witness. That came out in January.
Okay, yeah.
So I got it for my birthday. And it was a surprise hit for me because, you know, I'm a fan of like puzzle games and games like exploration games, and this was just such a unique like game for me. Not only visually was it nice and vibrant, you know, you don't see a lot of vibrant games like that, but it was just sort of such an interesting type of puzzle game that uses line puzzles in such an interesting way that they have the whole concept of drawing a line on a grid seems very simple, but when you start adding new mechanics in it, like having to separate different colored dots or different shapes, or having to line up your your perspective with other things in the environment to make lines. Like, it just sort of layers up these puzzles, and it's like, it was so unique the way it taught you everything on how to play the game without saying a single word. It was all self-taught by playing, and I just thought that was such an interesting game. And it's not everyone's cup of tea, and it is a very hard game, but it's definitely a standout game for me this year.
I think that's the epitome of a good game. Is it doesn't have to hold your hand, but it's still teaching you how to do the game without teaching you. You know what I mean? Like you're figuring it out on your own, so you feel like you're accomplishing something, but it's not overwhelming to the point like you can't figure it out.
Yeah,
and I know that game does get the difficulty ramps way up in that game.
Yeah, and it's just so rewarding by, like, because you could look up guides on the internet, but you feel so good about completing a tough puzzle that you've been stuck on for ages. You don't need to open a treasure chest to feel good about solving a puzzle. You just feel good by doing it. So, yeah, that was cool.
Sean, what's a game on your list?
So, I think Game of the Year conversations are really interesting because I always try to figure out, like, am I looking for a more original game? Am I looking for the biggest game, the most production, things like that? And so when Toby says a game like The Witness, I haven't played it yet, but that's kind of like, I really need to get my hands on this game because it sounds completely original, out of nowhere, and is really pushing things forward and challenging gamers in a completely new way. That's really what I want to look for in a Game of the Year. So I'm going to start with, I also have a couple of games. I sent my list of games that I've been playing this year to Bobby, and he's just like, good Lord. There's a lot to choose from here, but I think ultimately it's going to come down to a couple. The one that really surprised me, it's not brand new, but I think that it's new to probably the most number of players in this franchise, is Fire Emblem Fates. Just so well done, and in a way where it seemed to please a lot of the fans of the series, and it brought me in with absolutely no problems. I was hooked from the very first mission, and I couldn't wait to see what happens. I've had sort of like this weird, lately I've been trying to get more and more into the Japanese style RPGs and different types of games. This fits right into this little mode that I'm in, and I want to go back. I don't know if I'm ever going to have a chance to get to play the Fate, Conquest, and Revelations. But this might be enough for me. This is my first nomination for Game of the Year, and probably the only one that's going to wind up on a mobile or on a handheld.
For me, it's on my list as well. And I beat Birthright. Conquest, dude, the difficulty spike on Conquest is insane.
Yeah.
Because you can't grind in Conquest. Which, Birthright, anytime I got jammed up, I'd go grind a couple of levels, and then I'd come back to it, and I would keep cruising on. This game, Conquest, was just like, wow. So I'm half tempted to skip the rest and jump onto Revelation, because I'm on a level I can't beat. I've played it like 20 times now, and I just can't beat it. I've looked at strategy guides, all this. And the other thing that's weird is, like, it seems like the strategy guides that I've watched are like 3 or 4 levels ahead of me, and I'm like, how are they getting there? Yeah, like, how did you get there? It makes no sense. But this game is more based upon Fire Emblem through the years. Like, if you were a big fan of Fire Emblem throughout the years, Conquest was geared more towards you. And I never really played Fire Emblem until Awakening. Birthright is kind of like the Awakening style game, which was a little bit easier. You don't have permadeath. Well, you can have permadeath, but
right.
I don't do permadeath. I just, it doesn't feel like a role-playing game when I do permadeath.
But there's so many characters that would actually work. I could imagine myself even enjoying it even more, because by the end you just have this slew of characters. You're like, I don't need to look at 2/3 of these guys.
Yeah. My only thing is, like, I think about it like, man, what if I lost one of my favorite characters? What do I do? And I know a lot of people shut the system off and they go back and all that. So, Mark, what's a game that's on your list?
Well, see, this is kind of tricky for me because I haven't been playing as much. Like I said, and if you listen to the Warp Whistle, you know that I made this kind of thing where after, I think, Twilight Princess HD, I was like, all right, that's it for spending on games. Everything's going towards a wedding. I'm kind of done. Anything else going towards our Disney trip that's coming up in a couple months.
Can I just say though, I do listen to your podcast,
Yep.
and I do there was BS that you fell back on that.
I did.
So yeah.
And that's what I was gonna say. I did fall back on it once, and it was when Doom went on sale.
Nice.
And I needed Doom. So really, the new games I've played that came out in 2016, we've got Twilight Princess HD, Minecraft for the Wii U, Ratchet and Clank, and Doom. Ratchet and Clank and Doom are two absolutely fantastic games for very, very different reasons. Ratchet and Clank was like playing a Pixar movie. It was fantastic. I didn't see the movie, but I heard that you should just play the game and skip the movie completely. And I was perfectly happy doing that. And it was just one of those kind of throwbacks to the old style like platformers. It had great humor, and it was just fun and awesome. And the weapons were cool. It was really cool. And then Doom kind of took that in the complete opposite direction, and it was kind of had similar themes. It was fun to get new guns and like new power-ups and all this kind of stuff, but it was like just so violent and so brutal. But also I loved it for that sake that it was like throwing back to the original Doom and throwing back to these like ultra-violent games, and it didn't take itself super seriously while kind of taking the genre seriously kind of thing, and like paying homage to what they did in the past and bringing things new. And I thought Doom was fantastic. So console game wise, I think that's probably my game of the year right now, just because it was so good, so stupid, so violent, so over the top, but just like I said, just so good. So that console wise, that's my game of the year. But
Hold on. We're having a conversation. Going around. Take it easy. Scale it down.
Ratchet and Clank was on my list as well.
I was going to say, who else played Ratchet and Clank and felt like it was worthy or as a contender?
Honorable mention.
Okay.
No, definitely for me, it's up there for one of the best games this year. Because not only, like Mark said, is it gorgeous, it looks like an animated film, the gameplay in it is just so much fun. Like the upgrade system on the weapons and the level design and just everything about that game is just fun for me. And I played all the original ones on PlayStation 2, so it's got massive nostalgia factor for me. But it's just like the way they've upgraded it, it just feels like a modern adventure platforming shooter. So, and there isn't, as far as I know, there's nothing else like that at the moment, like a Ratchet and Clank game, because Jack fell off the rails and disappeared, and maybe that will come back. But yeah, Ratchet is it's a massive series in my heart, and I'm just so glad that it's back. So.
For me, I've never played a Ratchet and Clank game before. This was my first, and a lot of it was because a lot of people in the NVC group were basically saying it's like Mario. It's like a Mario game. If you're a fan of Mario, you got to get this. If you're a fan of Galaxy, you got to get this. And I loved it. I thought it was gorgeous. It looks amazing. Friend of the show, friend of mine, Ryan Benno, actually works on it. He's an environmental artist for Insomniac, and he's actually Boulevard Knight. He did my amiibo here. The custom amiibo of Mother 3, which he just, I'm giving him plugs, but I don't know if you guys seen the Wind Waker amiibo that he just did customs.
Yeah, I saw that. That was
amazing,
yeah, really
amazing. Away from that, so for me, I played it and I fell in love with it. I thought this is awesome. I love the crazy quirky weapons that they had, these goofy things like you're shooting and
disco
the
ball from the group ball.
What's that?
The disco ball.
Yeah,
Oh,
and they
yeah.
have dancing and stuff.
The pixelizer, all of those guns.
The sheepinator or whatever, you shoot them and they all start turning to sheep and stuff, and I'm like, this is awesome, man. It's just, it's a good game.
So polished as well.
It is.
Mm.
So let's get the big one out of the way that I know probably is on everybody's list. Uncharted 4.
Oh,
Never heard of it.
Have you?
That's
did you
another
play that
game
one?
I haven't played it.
Oh my god. Okay, so we'll kind of keep it spoiler free, obviously, because I don't want to ruin it for Mark. I think anybody that's played this game, it definitely has to be on the list.
That's a technical masterpiece.
It
Definitely.
is. I have never seen a game look so gorgeous in my entire life. I mean, obviously, I mean it's you know they're advancing, but Naughty Dog does this thing where it's just like you know that they're going to make a good game, and they just exceed what's in your mind.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean, like they just put it out there. They just have, and let's be honest, the games are all the same. There's no difference really between Last of Us and Uncharted series. There's just they do some technical things to it to tweak it and change it. It's like whatever they learned on Last of Us, they move it over to Uncharted. Whatever they learn on Uncharted, they'll move over to Last of Us, and vice versa and stuff. So that part I love. I love that like they're basically essentially giving you the same game, just major tweaks to it and such. But the graphics on this game is just mind blowing. How good it is. I feel like if there's a fault to this game, I feel like it's a little slow to get going. But once it gets going, my God, it's just unbelievable. So,
I feel it's about 4 or 5 hours too long for me.
you're probably about right.
Because I feel like some of the gameplay sections at the end are way too drawn out. It's a similar type of environment that is just over and over and over, and it starts to feel like a slog. And also the way the story is played out, like a section when you get to, without trying to avoid spoilers here, but later on in the game, the story is mainly told through bits of paper and stuff that you find, and that kind of bored me a lot because it's like, you go into this room and you find a piece of paper, and then you go into another room and you find a piece of paper, and that sort of storytelling just doesn't do much for me. Games like Resident Evil do it, but they sort of, that stuff's littered in between like cutscenes and like the story has progressed through the characters that you meet, but in this it's like the story is told through bits of paper that you find, and that's it, towards the end of the game. And I just felt like the direction of the storytelling just sort of fell off at that point. So
see, I disagree. I felt like I agree with it was a little too long, and I felt like the beginning should have got chopped off. But when I hit all that in the end, I was loving every minute of it. For me, it never slowed down. It never became a slog. Like, I just kept going and going and going. I loved it. Like I said, once the game started and it started going, then I was like, I'm in. I'm 110% in. Let's go. There's people that love the beginning because they just love that whole scene, that side of Nate and all that. Like, but that just wasn't. That wasn't why I bought the game. I didn't care about it. I wanted the action stuff. So, but what about you, Sean?
This game is, when I really think about it, this is at the top of my list. And it's almost like if I'm thinking that it's not, it's only because it seems so easy. Like, this just seems like an absolute no-brainer for this game. Similar to how GTA 5, when that game came out a couple of years ago, it was like, this is too easy. We can't give this game of the year. It's got to go to something else that, like, doesn't totally blow us. It isn't so popular. It's kind of a hipster type of attitude, I think. But the thing about Naughty Dog is they seem to grow up with us. Like they're never stuck or static. They're continuing to mature, not only as a developer, but in their ability to tell stories, their ability to develop these characters that we care about. And two of the characters that I think that really stand out, of course I love Nathan Drake, and of course I love everybody, like Sully, I love the whole cast, but games, just like movies for me, are built on villains. If I hate the villain, if I want to just get my revenge on whoever the villain is, then I am all in. 007, like GoldenEye, I love the villain in GoldenEye. I love 006. That's why that is my favorite Bond movie. I love Rafe in this. I think he's despicable, and he's a well-rounded, he's actually a three-dimensional character. He has a lot of motivation for why he's doing what he's doing. I think he's incredible. And then I also love Sam. I love Nathan's brother in this. And that really goes back to speaking about Naughty Dog as a developer, Troy Baker as the voice actor. This is a character. We've spent 3 games with Uncharted, 4 games if you played the Vita, which I have. You've played a ton of these games already, probably over 100 hours playing as Nathan Drake. All of a sudden we introduce this new character, and I think he is incredible. And I didn't know him before this game. And I can't imagine the Uncharted series without him now. And I think that's a real achievement, introducing so much new into the series while still remaining faithful, still being a ton of fun, still balancing all of the story. There's so much going on here, and the balance that Naughty Dog strikes with this game is so impeccable that I have to give this my #1 nod for Game of the Year. I'm going to pass out now.
So let's all right, so let's tighten this up then, and we'll kind of put the wrap on this. As of now, if we were to end right now, Mark, you're saying Doom is your Game of the Year.
No, I was gonna say no. You kind of cut me off there.
Okay, go ahead. So go back to
like
what
I was saying, you know, and you wanted the discussion kind of thing. And I was saying Doom is fantastic and it's stupid. And I'm sure if I played Uncharted, when I play it, and I can't wait to start that game very soon. But I think that will be probably one of my Game of the Year. But Pokemon Go.
Really?
I think it's going to be the Game of the Year.
Because
just for all of the reasons that that Sean, you described and more. It's getting people out. It's getting people to explore the real world. There's so many stories that are similar to yours where people are discovering a tennis court or a new monument or a new way to go somewhere or a new part of their city. They're meeting new people. They're getting people out of their house that are usually stuck behind a computer screen or stuck behind there. There was a story, the guy in New York just caught every Pokemon that you can actually catch in the game, and he did that and lost 10 pounds doing it and met new people and, you know, did all this kind of stuff. And it's like, you know, people are out there, they're walking 5K to hatch an egg, and they don't realize that it's exercise. They're walking 5K. You know, they're just doing it to hatch an egg, and it's the smartest smartphone game I think ever. Because it's not tying you to just your screen. Yes, you are looking in a screen, but you're also out and you're talking to people. And you know, I went down to the park here a few days ago, and there was like, you know, there's a kid that was just kind of walking up to everyone and saying like, "Oh, what did you catch? You know, have you seen anything cool down here?" And it was just like, "Oh, you know, no, I just kind of, you know, we dropped a lure module, and I'm just kind of waiting for something cool to show up." I was chasing a Psyduck and I missed him, and now I'm just up like, you know. And we had this conversation. And he was just like, "Okay, cool," and you know, and like strutted off or whatever, and talked to someone else. And it was just like, I don't know this kid, but like he's just like, it's bringing him out of his shell kind of thing, and like getting him to talk to all these people. And you know, there's Facebook groups popping up, and like the local Valor group I kind of started, and that's been like exploding. And I think it's a phenomenon, and I hope it lasts a bit, and I hope they roll out trading and local battles and that kind of stuff while people are still interested. Like, you know, if it starts to kind of dip, you bring it back with that. And I think it's such a smart game, and it's such just such a cool way to get old gamers, new gamers, like lapsed gamers, the casual like Candy Crush people. Like people are posting things, you know, text conversations with their mothers. They're like, "Okay, what's this Pokemon Go thing, and how do I get it?" And it's like, you've never played a game in your life. You don't know anything other than like, you know, what Pikachu is, because everyone knows Pikachu. Yeah. But like, it's like, you know, these grandmothers and whatever are playing, and then these like 5-year-old kids are like, I really want to go catch them all. Like it's phenomenal, and it's brilliant. And I think that's going to be the Game of the Year, and I think it's going to be hard to beat.
Dude, I think you just changed my mind. Because I was sitting here and I'm thinking, and I'm like, so for me going into this, before we started the conversation, I was like, for me it was Fire Emblem. But now that I'm, just because of part of what you're saying makes sense. Like it's, when you're talking a Game of the Year,
yep.
How can you not talk about a game that has over 30 million downloads within a week?
Yeah.
Yes, it's free. I get that. Whatever. But it's crashing servers. Everybody wants to play it. You know, I got people at work that are coming up to me that know that I game, and they're like, "Do you play Pokemon Go? Like, what are you doing?" And like, I'm actually during my lunch break taking people out for trips in the area to show them like, "Hey, you don't need to buy Pokeballs. This is how you do it. Go here, do this, do that." And like, they come back and they're even bigger fans because they're getting the gist of the game. Like my wife, I've said it before, my wife literally will just go walk the dog. The dog's dead tired, man. She's dragging him down the street because he's like, enough, stop with this stuff. But it's, when you look at that, isn't that essentially what we define as the game of the year? Like something that changes. And you've got now, like, it's changing the industry. You have Ubisoft just came out yesterday and said that they want to make an AR game. Like, there's a couple of other ones that are coming out recently and saying, like, Microsoft just came out and said they want to work on it now too. And when when you look at games of the year, we always look at, like, yes, the best game, the biggest game, and all that stuff, but, like, shouldn't it have put its fingerprint on the industry? And I feel like this is the talk of everybody. Like, Uncharted, as big of a game as Uncharted is and how glorious it is, like, you don't see it on the evening news every single night. Like, Toby, you just told a story last week that your local radio station was talking about it, like, almost every day, and it's like, it
won't be long before the first Pokemon Go marriage happens.
Oh, absolutely. I agree. Miguel just sent me an app yesterday. It's called PokeDate.
I read about that.
It's literally like a dating app where you go on there, you have your profile, this, that, and the other, and then, like, I guess you hook up dates and stuff, and it's, like, unreal, the power of this game. Like, so, you know what? I'm going with Mark. Pokemon Go right now, as of now, is my game of the year. So I'm with Mark.
Well,
Toby, where are you at?
Well, I haven't actually finished Uncharted yet, so I'm not going to put that as my game of the year.
Okay.
Because I want to wait till I finish it to give my full verdict on it.
Okay.
So it's a toss-up between Ratchet and Clank and The Witness for me. I did have Firewatch as an honourable mention because I did really enjoy that. I don't know. I mean, both of those games, I loved them for different reasons, and they both had me hooked, like, thinking about them. Especially The Witness. Like, when I wasn't playing The Witness, I was constantly thinking about it. And when you play that game for long enough, your mind starts working in a different way, and when you're out about in the environment, you start seeing line puzzles in the real world. Because you spend so long, like, looking at the screen figuring it out. When you're walking around, you start seeing puzzles in the real world. So that was kind of a unique thing for me with games. But I mean, I'm going to say The Witness because I think that for me that is the most memorable gaming experience of the year that I've had so far, and very fun for me.
Something that changes how you see the real world and how your brain works.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're doing something cool.
It's got to have the edge. Ratchet and Clank is like a category game winner, like whatever the genre is. Like that's the dimension that game gets.
Action game or platforming or something like that. Yeah, that's definitely.
That's when we used to have Nintendo Power to be like gaming graphics or sound. Like Mike Tyson's Punch-Out won like 15 awards that year because they had like it all, all set up throughout the game, all the nonsense. Sean, where are you at?
Best game based on a movie based on a game.
Yes. Where are you at, Sean?
God, 2015 and 2016 have been very special years. I have been gaming more in the last 2 years than ever before, just getting my hands on all sorts of different types of games. I am right with Mark with the whole Pokemon Go thing. Anybody who listens to me on any of the show, like if we ran Nintendo this show or We the Gamercast, I'm very conflicted. I have a lot of inner turmoil about a lot of stuff. I don't know. I just don't know, you guys. Like, Pokemon Go is so huge, and every time somebody brings it up, at this point, it's almost like they have to apologize for saying, look, man, I'm really sorry, but I'm going to talk about Pokemon Go again for a second. I know everybody's talking about this. I know you can't escape it in your Facebook feed and your Twitter feed, but I just got to say this one thing about it, and that's kind of like where we're at with Pokemon. So that's kind of why I have that almost like a mental barrier for making Pokemon Go my game of the year. But, Mark, you're absolutely right. It is pushing the boundaries in our brains of what we should expect from our games. And I never look to my phone for a real experience, and I cannot put my phone down. I'm running out of batteries. I just got a text from my carrier saying you're running out of data. I'm
Oh, wow.
Oh
like my
God.
dogs are losing weight. Everything is just
Yeah.
like this game, and then there are problems with it for sure. And that I think that,
Oh, yeah.
that some of the things with it are maybe keeping me from there. Like that combined with the fact that it's a mobile game, then maybe there's a bias there, and that it's Pokemon, and that it's huge. Maybe that's the reason why I'm not. It didn't pop in my brain.
But let me
But-
stop you 1 second. 1 second. And I'm not trying to sway you by any stretch.
No, that's all right. I love
But-
the conversation.
But my thing is this: is like this goes to show you before this game, would a mobile game ever be considered by anybody, not just us, by anybody to be considered by a game of the year? And that to me says something about
Because
this
it's
game.
more than how popular it is, right? Like you
Yes.
talk about the
Mhm.
number of downloads it has. This isn't the first game that's had tens of millions of downloads. We've seen
Yeah.
people talking about Candy Crush and Clash of Clans, like non-gamers coming into that
Angry
thing. It's
Birds.
more than just that. Exactly. There are these games that bring a lot of people in. It's more than that. It's
Mhm.
changing our behaviors, and I think that is so powerful. That's got to be one of the most difficult things to do as a developer, to change how you actually live your daily life.
Yes.
That's powerful stuff, man. I mean, I gotta give it to Pokemon Go for that. Are you trying to get us to come to like a
Yeah.
consensus here? Is that
No,
we're
no
giving the
consensus.
game?
No consensus. You pick what you think is the game of the year. That's all. Right now, you don't have. We're not going to create the ultimate one, and this is the pick. That comes at the end of the year. Right now, it's just what where do you feel as of right now?
I think I'm gonna stick with Uncharted. The other reason is that Pokemon Go is still very new for me. I've had a long time to sort of dwell and reflect on Uncharted. It still sticks with me months after. It's still I can still remember parts of that game. That's very rare for me. I have a terrible memory, but that game is very special. So I'll still give the nod to Uncharted, but I'm glad that we have a nice like shout out for Pokemon Go here, and just having those two games on like the same playing field, the same level.
It's crazy.
It's
Yeah, it's
awesome.
crazy.
If you told me a year ago that a mobile game on my phone, like without any hint, a game on my phone would be up there being compared to something from the Uncharted series, I would have told you to like just get the hell out. Like
If
just
you would have told me a year ago that I would be playing Pokemon Go, I would have said get the hell out.
okay,
I didn't
yeah,
want
that's
nothing
true.
to do with this
That's
game.
true.
I want
It has
nothing
me
do
wanting
with
to go back. Like I've
Yeah.
tried Pokemon games before, and it has me excited for new games. Like I think you're the same, Bobby. Like that's again same with Ratchet and Clank 2. Very great game. Same with Doom. I want to go like they're nice homages to what the series is. These are games that are games in series that we can go explore more, and they get us excited to explore more in those series.
Yeah, absolutely. So there we go. Now it's time to get your facts straight. It's the game that Toby loves. Sean is
I hate this game.
conflicted.
No confliction. I hate this
At
game.
least listen. At least you.
I
brought
like
facts.
listening to it. I love when you guys play. I love. I don't like being made fun of, Bobby, and it's
That's not-
inevitable.
Nobody's gonna make fun of you.
You
Relax.
are. You make fun of everybody. Nobody's great at this game.
This is true.
This game is made to ridicule.
That's
It is.
fun. Man. That's what people love.
I can't believe you fell for that, or what a crap that was.
I don't know if you listened. Well, I know you listened, but I don't know if Mark, if you listened a couple weeks ago, and I totally got into Toby's head and like just twisted him up,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I just
Mind
started.
games.
I
It
just
is a
started
mind
messing with him,
game.
and he totally crumbled and lost the game. he was so mad,
Yeah.
and I was
Furious.
like, dude,
I love listening to this. I'm right there with Sean. Like I love listening to this segment because I love listening to Toby always drive you freaking crazy with Sonic facts. I love it. Nothing makes me smile more on my drive to and from work than hearing Toby say, "Okay, well my next one," and you're like, "Not Sonic, not Sonic, not Sonic." And he's like, "So in Sonic 3," and you're just like, "Damn it!" And every time, like it's months, and every single time you're
He
like,
totally beat me with like bringing all Sonic facts. But the best is I found out a couple weeks ago, the first time we had Holly on, he was telling her to bring a Sonic fact because I love Sonic facts. I'm like, dude, what is wrong with you? So, but for those, if this is your first time listening to this, basically what it is, everybody brings 2 facts to the table. We read those. Well, we bring 3 facts, but we only read 2. We read 2 facts. and then the rest of the people have to determine whether it's true or false fact. If you get it right, you get a point. If you don't get anything. And then the winner, the other remaining guests, we're going to change it up, Tobes. The other remaining guests have to say that the winner is the ultimate mastermind in video game knowledge, and he is the ruler.
Okay.
A mouthful.
You don't have to. Just basically, you got to tell them they're the greatest in your own words. But anyway, Toby, kick it off. What's your first fact?
Right. Okay. So, Castlevania 2: Simon's Quest on the Nintendo Entertainment System was the first console game to feature multiple endings.
The first console game.
Yes.
False.
False.
Now it's do I just go true just to try and get a leg up on you guys?
You go with the right.
I'm gonna go true.
Okay.
Good for you, Sean. It's true.
Get out of here! Get out of here!
I thought that game came out after Metroid.
Yeah.
We can do a fact check on that now.
We can do a fact check on
Let
it.
me just quickly check that out.
Because
Metroid was the original.
Metroid had, yeah, that's what I
Metroid
thought.
had,
'Cause
like,
Metroid had,
depending on how quick you beat it, she took off more and more of her armor.
yeah, which
think
sounds
that-
weird,
right.
Bobby.
I know it does. Toby.
But I
cheating.
really thought that game came out first.
Toby is doing
be
what
wrong.
he does best. He's trying to ruin us. Yes, because which call didn't come out to like 89.
Alright, the original Metroid was out 1986. Castlevania 2 was out in
89.
87. So,
There you go.
hang on. So, I don't know, because I haven't researched this.
Where did you get the fact from? You just made it up?
What are the different endings that you get in
Well, okay.
Metroid then?
Metroid, you
Okay,
get
and
like
I guess that's the crux of who's right is what counts as a different ending, because there are different endings in Metroid where, you know, you depending on how quickly you finish and that kind of stuff, like you said, you get different levels of revealing who Samus is actually underneath the costume.
yeah.
Does
But
that,
that's nothing to do with story, though, is it?
I was just gonna say, is that a different story ending, or does Castlevania like actually like, you know, in one ending Dracula wins, in another ending this happens, in another ending, you know, is it
Begrudgingly, I give Sean the point.
interesting?
I think that we're being cheated, Mark, but that's fine. That's,
Alrighty.
That's the English way. They're all cheats and crooks.
I'll take it.
Sean, what is your first fact?
Okay, I'm gonna switch. I was still fact checking. I can't believe that I got that point. I'm surprised you guys allowed me to get that one. So I will take it. I don't care. I'll win any way that I possibly can. Okay.
The last point you get anyway, so I'm not really worried.
This is sort of Sonic based.
Oh,
But
what
not,
the?
but not
on,
really.
man.
No, this is as close as it gets. The Sega Dreamcast used a proprietary disc called the GD-ROM to curb the rampant piracy scene on the PlayStation 1. It's seen as one of the main factors the system was a failure and didn't sell well. As the PlayStation 2 release approached, Sony confirmed their system would use a DVD format. This prompted Sega to promise gamers that they would one day be able to upgrade their Dreamcast to a DVD drive.
I'm gonna say true.
Yeah.
I'm going to say true as well.
The
Oh,
answer
geez,
is
okay.
no. The answer is true. I thought
Wow.
this was ridiculous when I read it. I don't know how they were planning on doing it.
That's crazy.
Dreamcast DVD, the Dreamcast had a DVD display unit on display at E3 in 2000.
Wow.
The plans for a DVD add-on for a fully separate unit never materialized during the significantly shorter production run of the Dreamcast.
Wow.
So it
And
was
see-
a thing. That's crazy. I don't know how they would even
Yeah.
do that.
Because Sega just, that's the one thing I'll say. Sega was ahead of their time, man. Like they were the first one with internet. You know, like they were the first ones to like put out internet and all that. Like everything with Sega was always a step ahead of
Ahead of their time would have been a DVD drive built in. But I see what you mean.
But I'm saying like they've always
the
been a step
NES
ahead.
was the first one with the internet.
The NES was?
Yeah.
Yeah, but they didn't act. Well, in Japan they used
In
it.
Japan, they use
Yeah.
it mainly for a stock ticker, but it's still technically.
That's awesome.
Um,
But
Mark,
Sega was not afraid of just adding things on. They're like, we'll just make the thing into a Megazord of
the
a...
32X was a time example.
I like
They'll just throw anything at you.
Yeah.
Megazord. Awesome.
Mark, what's your first fact?
All right. Christian Whitehead and Simon Thomley, maybe, also known as Taxman and Stealth, are the men behind the remastered versions of Sonic the Hedgehog, Sonic 2, Sonic CD, and now Sonic Mania. They previously built a working remake of Boogeyman, which Sega asked them to take down before hiring them to continue to work on the Sonic franchise officially.
Dude, why? Why? This is two of you jerks. All right, enough. Come on, man.
He didn't even ask me to do this. I just wanted to troll you.
Oh God, I know. That's why I'm getting mad, because I know you did it on purpose.
Getting rattled.
Oh.
Who's starting?
So you're okay. So the fact is that before they created the new game,
He doesn't even want to say Sonic. He doesn't want to say the name.
that they were working on something else, and Sega grabbed them and hired them to do this.
They were working on a remake of Boogerman, another Sega game.
Yeah.
It just wasn't like, I mean, they did
Oh,
the
it wasn't.
Sonic
They were
stuff,
doing it on
but
their
also
own, like okay.
And they did Sonic stuff on their own too, but they were starting to do Boogerman, and Sega was like, "Can you guys stop doing Boogerman, but come work on Sega or on Sonic stuff with us?" They just didn't want their work to be Boogerman.
Gotcha.
A pick and flick adventure.
I'm going to say false.
I'm going to say true.
I'm also going to say true.
Sadly, it is false. And
Oh,
Bobby
no!
Yes.
The answer is they were working on Boogeyman, then I'll be very upset.
But no, they weren't. They were legitimately just doing their own fan remakes of Sonic games, and Sega saw what they were doing and said, "You guys pretty much got this down. Let's make it a thing."
Just goes to show.
So they've been all Sonic, but they did. It was fan versions of like Sonic 3, that kind of stuff. They called it, I think, Sonic 3K. And they were doing it. They were running it on iPhones and that kind of stuff. And Sega just basically saw what they were doing, and they were like, "You guys are legit." And now they are two of the people that are behind Sonic Mania, which Toby brought up earlier.
I've just deleted my facts off my phone by accident.
Oh, what?
Oh,
So I'm going to have to go by memory, though.
Oh my God. Okay. So
False.
my first fact is Sony PlayStation. When they created the PlayStation, the controller, they used the buttons X, circle, square, triangle. They used them because Sony felt they needed to be different than Sega and Nintendo, who at the time were using letter buttons for their buttons. True or false?
You're saying that's the only reason?
Say that's the reason why they did it.
True.
It's probably a reason why they did it, but I don't know if
Yeah.
it's the reason.
A reason.
A and the is two different things here. So I think Bobby's being jammy with this one.
No,
I agree. Good word. Very jammy.
What the hell is jammy, first off? Second off,
Jammy, Bobby. It means
I'm not
jammy.
saying it's a reason. I'm saying that's the reason when they
Well,
start.
they wanted to
Listen,
be-
okay, wait, stop. So when they started making the controller, there was explicit instructions passed down. These are we're using these buttons because I don't want to have A, B, X, Y on our buttons. Sega was using A, B, C. I think they used X, Y, Z for the bottom when they did the 6 buttons. And Nintendo was doing the button that they used forever.
Mm-hmm.
Sony wanted to be different. They did not want to be Nintendo or Sega. They were told. Whatever extra reasons were added, that was added after the fact.
Alright, it's true.
So there you go.
True.
True.
This
Sean?
is too jammy for my taste. I'm gonna go false. I think that they wanted to be more on brand with the whole PlayStation, and maybe the shapes were more play-y. I'm gonna say false. I'm gonna say
the
false.
answer is false.
Wow.
I can sense that jamminess.
The X and O were made. They were meant to be no and yes. The triangle was to trigger perspective changes, and the X or the square was to access menus or maps. But immediately after, like not that long after they did all that, developers and stuff started ignoring that stuff and going in different directions. But that was the original concept of what they wanted to do with it.
Interesting.
I love it. I love it. Okay, so
I'm not happy about that, by the way. Because that is the
I'm
most
so glad it's false.
Yeah, because you are a jammy dodger. You really are. Because
A jammy dodger.
yeah, because A and D, like I'm sure it was a reason for it. They didn't want to have the ABC.
Yeah.
No, that wasn't
X and Y.
okay. So in all my research, that was never brought up. That was never brought up that
Just
was.
because it wasn't brought out doesn't mean it wasn't true.
Oh, well, doesn't matter. If it was true, you would have heard about it by now.
Such a scumbag, Bobby.
It's still like a multiple choice question where what's
Yeah.
the best answer?
Yeah,
Is
exactly.
true the best answer? Is false the best?
Exactly.
So after round one, myself and Sean are tied at 2, and Mark and Toby are tied at 1. So, Toby, kick it off.
Okay. Dragon Quest IV on the NES is the biggest game on the system in terms of how much memory it uses.
True.
I have no idea.
Not even close to an idea.
So you guess. Come on, I don't know for a fact. I'm just guessing.
I think it's false.
It's true.
Damn it! I
is
was.
a whole megabyte of data.
Woohoo! When in doubt, you just go with me, guys. That's just the way it is. I'm just letting you know.
God damn it.
Damn.
Sean. Get up, Sean. Where you at?
I have my hands in my face, or my face in my hands.
Yeah. So there we go. Sean,
Megabyte. Oh my
You're up.
gosh.
what's your next fact, Sean?
Okay, going to the game that is terrible. Groose, the pompous. No, the Skyward Sword. Groose, the pompous, delusional, large, and muscular character from Skyward Sword.
He's the best character in that game.
Okay, I mean, I guess that's sure. So if you know him well, you know this. He is actually based on Beauty and the Beast Gaston.
This is hard for me because I never played the game, so I don't even know who this guy is.
No,
I'm gonna say
quite
true.
like Gaston.
I know
I'm
who
gonna say that's
Gaston
true.
is. Go ahead. What did you say, Mark? I'm sorry.
True. If he's not based on him, he is super similar by happenstance.
Yeah, I would say true because Nintendo's known for that. Like they'll theme their stuff after certain characters.
God damn you, Bo. I know that this is 100% true.
Is it true, Sean?
Well, then we have to fact check. Everything that I said is that that's the common rumor, but it's never been confirmed
For
that he's
real?
actually based on.
So it's false.
So it's false.
I'm
Wow.
sure I read that somewhere that it's true.
There's a Miyamoto interview where he said that Link was based on Peter Pan, which led people to think that a lot of other characters were based on Disney characters.
Oh, okay, well maybe
From what
I'm
I can see-
blocking the rumors.
But he's very similar, but not even close to the majesty that is Gaston. Bruce is a terrible
No,
character.
definitely not.
Are you talking about me being jammy and
I'm
stuff?
doing terribly at this game.
Mark, what is your next fact?
All right, this is a short one, short and simple.
Hey, listen, if it's any consolation, you're not doing any worse than Toby, so you're good. You're in good company. You're
Awesome.
hanging on. Toby, odds are Toby will drop the ball in the next 2 questions, and you'll at least be a step ahead of him. So don't worry about it. You're all right, buddy.
Former Get
Alright.
Your Facts Straight champion, Toby.
Yeah, one time.
Pokemon Go launched in Lithuania before officially launching in Canada.
Lithuania.
What the?
God, that's tricky because
I'm going to say true.
You'd think as well because Japan is like getting it last. Like I don't. They've probably got it now, but it was like yesterday they didn't have it, and I think there's about 26 other countries that already had it.
This is a good one.
So yeah, this could be true.
I'm gonna say false, but I think you're trying to make us think that something as ridiculous as this could possibly happen. It's very possible. I'm gonna say false.
I'm gonna say true.
It is true.
Damn it!
Yes.
The game,
Read too much into it.
launched in 29 European countries. Lithuania was one of them,
Oh my.
and it launched there. I think a day or two after it launched in the UK, and it came to Canada last Sunday. So it hasn't officially been out here for a full week yet.
You know, it's probably one of those small countries that people like test things in. You know, like when they launch a product in a country, like the Wii Mini came out in Canada before everywhere else.
Yeah.
They probably got it by accident. Like, what's around Lithuania?
They hit
Someone for a dartboard.
They hit like 26 European countries on the same day. So it was like the US got it, and like Australia, New Zealand, and then they waited a bit. Then there was the UK launch. Then I think Germany, France, and a couple of the bigger countries around there. And then they did like 26 just other small European countries. So like Spain, Luxembourg, Lithuania, just all that kind of stuff was just all in one day. It was all at once, like 26 different countries. I just picked one that just sounded like it shouldn't be there before Canada. So
I think Niantic was working off an old map, and they didn't mean to do that. They were just hitting the area. They realized they were hitting that specific country.
yeah.
Okay.
Oh, damn it.
Final fact, but just so you guys know, I won. You guys can't beat me. But anyway, so this is a race for second place now. So SmackDown, WWF Royal Rumble, and No Mercy, they all launched within the same time, like within a month or so, all at the same time. They all came out, but they were all on different consoles. SmackDown was on the PlayStation, Royal Rumble was on the Dreamcast, and No Mercy was on the N64. This was done in this particular fashion because all of the consoles told THQ, we want something separate. We want to be our own little, like the game can't be the same as the others to be on our console, so we want something different. And of them all, overall, No Mercy sold the most out of all three. True or false?
No Mercy was on the
N64.
64?
Yeah.
I'm going to say true.
That's tough because I know SmackDown was huge at the time. Like my friends were all talking about SmackDown, and I was there, the one person in our group going, "No, No Mercy is way better."
It is better.
No Mercy was awesome.
Or SmackDown was the rage, or I don't know.
I like your thought. It's false. SmackDown would definitely outsold it.
Yeah, definitely a bigger install base as well. Probably. Yeah, I'm gonna say yeah, it's false.
What'd you say, Mark?
I'm going true.
It's false. I just made the whole thing up. I just went down and just made up some stupid story and just said whatever.
Right, so next time I'm on the show, all Sonic facts, just for that one. Just for that one. Non-stop Sonic facts.
So that is all. Thank you guys for
Who got second place?
You and Toby tied for second. But second, we don't really care about second. It's the winner. I'm avoiding the idea of making you guys grovel and say how awesome I am, because that's I'm not that type of person. If Toby had won, Toby would definitely be making me say that to him. But I'm not going to do that right now because I'm a better person than the Brit. So
you're just a Jeremy Dodger scumbag. That's it. That's your label.
That is all. Thank you guys for listening to us. Mark, Sean, thank you guys for coming on. This was awesome. I had a really good time with this episode. Sean, where can everybody find you at?
I am on Twitter at Sean Capri, Sean like Connery, Capri like the pants. I do If We Ran Nintendo with You. It's on iTunes, SoundCloud, Stitcher, and all those things. And also, We the Gamercast every Monday. That's where you can find me.
And Nerdflix and Chill.
and a movie podcast called Nerdflix and Chill with Gary Taru.
There you go. Mark, where can people find you at?
You can find me on the Warp Whistle podcast and the Ink Strike podcast. So we're both on iTunes, SoundCloud, Stitcher, Google Play, podcasts, all that kind of stuff. YouTube, you can find me personally on Twitter at Mark Carabin. You can find the Warp Whistle on Twitter and Instagram, _Warp Whistle. And you can always find me hanging out the Geek Guru Facebook group, the Nintendo Guru Facebook group, the / in there.
Yeah.
Have you decided on one?
Sonic Guru.
I'm gonna
Sonic Guru, I like that.
Yeah.
I'm going to move the Geek Guru off. I did it at first because I
Pokemon
didn't want to upset people, but I'm going to eventually. But the truth is that group kind of talks about everything anyway, so I didn't mind keeping it the Geek Guru in there. That's
For sure. All right, so you can find me there all the time.
Yes. Good stuff. Toby, you can follow him Instagram at Amiibo_workshop.
Correct.
He's on Twitter at Toby's_take. Myself, you can follow me Instagram, Twitter at Nintendo Gurus. That is all. Peace, mother.
Ciao.
Bye.
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 Only Sean.
No, Toby, didn't you do that last time? Bye.
Oh no, he doesn't see me later. But
See me later.
He's actually mocking me because I said in my Nintendo Guru things because I wanted to eliminate the peace mother, and so I was trying to think of new things to say, and I was like, "See me later," and so he started mocking me.
Yeah, the thing is, at first I was like, am I just hearing this wrong? Is he saying "see you later," like, or is he saying "see me later"? Because "see me later" doesn't make any sense. And then I asked him about it, and he was like, "Oh yeah, we used to say it when I was little." Like,
Yeah, my brother used to say it all the time. My brother used to be like, "See me later," and I'm like, "What?" And he's like, "Whatever, you'll see me later. See you later." And he used to walk away, and I'm like, and we just all started saying it.
You just stand there for a couple hours going, what did he just say to me?
Does that mean like I have to stay here until he comes back and I see him? Like what's going on here?